All right, so Stephen, we are here for the first question of 100 questions, not yet all asked, by the way, so I would invite you to ask your question. If you have a question about building a business, I mentioned before the title itself is how to go from zero to $100 million plus business. It doesn't mean it has to be $100 million. You may want to just build a $1 million business or a $10 million business or whatever, but those principles will help you get there. And I'm excited about answering these questions for you. So if you have a question on your mind, make sure that you email me about that question. You can email me at, Stephen, what email are we giving them? So they can ask the question at durandondemand@gmail.com. That's where you're fielding these questions? Okay. So durandondemand@gmail.com. And Stephen will be able to grab that question. He'll filter through them and bring the appropriate ones to us so we can answer them. So the first question that we have here is what? Start a business. Okay, I like it. Well, this is a great place to start. Am I ready to start a business, and should I start a business? I think the two do go together. I'm actually asked this question quite often because I am asked it often. I have a pretty ready answer for it, and it's really a three-part answer to the question. The first thing we have to remember is that when you're going to start a business, there are going to be other people affected in your life, okay? And so I can't just answer the question just straight up, because, and some of the subsequent questions that are going to come out are going to be nice also, because I would invite you to customize them a little bit more according to your circumstance. But should I start a business, or am I ready to start a business? Who's involved? Most of the time when people start a business, there are people who are going to either encourage them or discourage them from doing that, whether it's a significant other or a husband or wife. And as a result, you have to ask yourself the question, who am I taking along, and how much pain are they going to go through? Are they willing participants in this? These are very, very key questions. And there are ways that you can actually answer it to kind of settle people and to even yourself discover whether or not you're ready for it. And I would look at it this way. I would look at it as this analogy. If you said to me, Dave, I'm going to go up to the top of the building and I'm going to jump off because I think I can fly. And I said, well, why do you think you can fly? And you said, well, because I had an energy drink and I'm feeling great. I would say, don't fly. You're going to crash. However, if you said, well, I've been studying flight for a long period of time. We have a particular technology that has been tested and vetted out. We've used it many different times at different altitudes, different levels of buildings. We know we can do it. And here are the reasons why we think we can do it. Boom. I would say, great, go for it. How exciting. I can't wait to see it. So that's kind of the way you want to look at this. Are you just simply going to jump into something? And a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, oh, just jump in and do it. Well, okay. Others will tell you, I did that and I lost everything. So that's why you want to have reason behind this. You want prudence at the base of your decision. Do you understand what you're about to do? There's no doubt about it. At some point, you need courage, and you're going to have to jump into something that's absolutely true. But you want to make sure that you're not jumping into concrete that looks like water from a mirage. It has to be real water. So consider that. The next thing is the island factor. I have a lot of people that say the reason I want to do it is because I want to be autonomous. I want to be on an island and in control. Okay, well, I would say that when people say that, it is usually a sign they should not start a business, because they don't understand what it actually means to build a business, and there's some character issues you want to work out before you actually get there. So autonomy is great, it's beautiful, and even great leaders really, really emphasize as much autonomy as they possibly can with the people they work with, and they like their own autonomy. But you can't have this like, I'm going to build something great with the expectation of all this autonomy and have it work out. It doesn't. I've never been more accountable to people that I'm accountable to because of the businesses that I run. So you're accountable to thousands of customers. Well, maybe it's a different type of business. It's a few customers, but generally thousands or tens of thousands of customers, thousands of people on your team. If you get to the 100 million mark, usually, and it could be smaller as well too, but it depends on what you're building and how you're doing it. So you're going to be accountable. And I wouldn't fear that. It makes you a better person without question. And one of the reasons that I say that is because it's really tied to like the motive of what makes people great. I do tell people quite often when it comes to business that you want to pour your heart into the business itself. You want to love your people to success. And love itself is a very, very high motivator for people because it's sacrificial, because it's very fast acting, because it makes you a better person to do it. So consider those things when you go to the next level. The thing that I do want to include after that, though, is the third part, and that's really what I would call the landing. If you were to ask people, what do you think is the most important trait for a leader? In America, the number one answer is usually a person that's not a hypocrite or they lead by example. That's what you hear all the time. And it's a good answer, by the way. I mean, who wants to work with a hypocrite or a person who can't lead by example? But I would say that there's something that's bigger. And the reason I say it's bigger is because almost always what is contained inside it is that they aren't a hypocrite and they lead by example. So that's why I'm willing to say something is bigger, because it almost always contains those two things. But those two things, without this bigger thing, doesn't work at all. And it's this: where's the leader taking you? The number one trait for a leader is that they're taking me where I need to go. So if you wanted to get on a plane and you wanted that pilot to take you to Dallas and the pilot was going to take you to New York, that's not the person you're going to follow, right? You're going to follow the person who takes you to New York. You would even be better off, you're going to follow the person who's going to take you to Dallas, okay? So you would be better off flying with a person who you didn't really necessarily like a lot, but gets you all the way to Dallas, than a pilot who you really, really, really like, but won't take you to the proper destination. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, it's best to have people you like to lead with or work with, spend time with, people that are, high virtue. These things are really essential. But at the same time, the number one competency is they have to take you where you need to go. So I would look at it that way. And in summary, to help you kind of remember these things, you want to look at it as flight. That's the first thing. Okay, why am I jumping off the building? Do I have something behind it? Do I have a reason to be able to believe I can do it? The second thing is the island idea. You cannot be an island by yourself. Human beings were meant to be social and interactive and accountable, so that's a huge thing. And then the third thing would be, where am I going to land? Is this person going to take me to where I'm going? You're about to be a leader, and my question to you is, can you take the people you're going to lead in this business to where they need to go? And if you haven't thought about that, you're probably not ready, because you're only thinking about yourself. But if you're going to build something great, you have to think about the people that are going to be on that team and where they're going. It's an essential thing to be able to do. I want to wrap up with this too, because I think it's important when you're talking about building from zero to $100 million. It's not really what you do that really matters. It's who you become when you do what you do that really matters. So the last thing I would ask you is, what are you going to become when you build this business? A hoardy, greedy, arrogant, prideful, materialistic person? I don't really advise it. Are you going to become more gracious, more understanding, more magnanimous, more charitable, more investing and kinder? Then you're probably thinking about the right things. Since I, by the way, have been away from social media for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, I'm glad the 30,000 or so people on LinkedIn and Facebook that were following me are still there, but I'm restarting most everything. So please go follow me on my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm going to be getting some good articles and more materials out here too. I've been busy building a business, and that's gone pretty well, but I've had some people ask me a lot of different things about that path and that journey, and I just want to be able to give back and share some of that with you.